All right. Do y'all see it recording?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. Okay. Hold on one second, y'all. I'm having. Okay. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. My name is Amy Robinson, and I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I have been a part of Plexus Worldwide for 7 years. And it warms my heart to come on here tonight because it is so many people that I have just met recently that have become strangers that are now friends that are like family, and then also friends of mine from 20 years back. I have two sorority sisters from college on here tonight sharing their story. So I'm here, and it is my mission for people to know what Plexus can do for you. I started as a tired mama, and it has changed my world for the better. I had IBS symptoms that it has helped relieve. And I had three young boys, and I would go to bed at 6:30 at night when I would put them down. My husband would beg me to come downstairs to sit down and watch TV with him. And I was worn out. His children wore me out. I thought that was the way everybody lived. As you have these children and you're supposed to be happy, and I wasn't happy. And so I started Plexus for pure vanity reasons. I just wanted to lose weight because my baby was in kindergarten and I still had baby weight. So I started the pink drink for that reason, and so many other things came about from that. um, I had more energy. I had a new life about me. I remember there was a point that I came downstairs to go out with Dan on a date night, and my son was like, "Mom, you look like a princess." And it was because I just felt so much better about myself. I had curbing of cravings, and I had more energy to do all the things. I have never been a morning person. And y'all, I work out at 6 a.m. 2 mornings a week. It's just has been, it has opened up the world for me. And that is why I share, because I want everybody to experience the change in life and how I love life now. So we have Carrie Blum, who is a health coach, and she's going to share a little bit about why the products work so well. And then we have some other friends who are going to share their stories. So Carrie, if you want.
Yeah, sure. Can everybody hear me? Okay. All right. So, yes, I'm Carrie Blum. I'm also in North Carolina, and I'm a health and life coach and also a Plexus ambassador. And I have been consistent with Plexus. I'm just about to hit my 1 year anniversary, I think next month. So, I'm really excited about that. So, what brought me to Plexus was going back earlier in my life. I was always a really healthy person for the most part. And I grew up having tons of energy, not having any real health issues, just always on the go, very active, very athletic. Although I did suffer from insomnia looking back my entire life. So I just had to, it was one of those things where if I, overindulged a little bit, I just worked out consistently for a week and then boom, I'm right back to where I started. So it wasn't until I really started to age and get into my 40s, where you just kind of hit that wall and things started happening and changing. And I wasn't really sure like what is going on. I'm not, bouncing back to my normal fit and healthy bikini size that I always was. And I was also starting to feel some other effects. So in addition to my weight fluctuating a whole lot, which I'd never really experienced, and it wasn't as easy to shed the last 10 pounds. Oh, now it's 15. Now it's 20. Well, now I'm back to 10. But now it was really different for me. But I also had some other issues that I had not experienced before. So I started having intestinal distress issues. There were some food allergies and things in my family, but I wasn't lactose intolerant. I wasn't, I didn't have celiac. So I wasn't really sure why is this now happening to me when I haven't had this issue my whole life. But I remember all of a sudden having issues ranging from I just ate something, now I'm running to the bathroom, to I don't think I've been to the bathroom in a few days and I feel really icky. So just really strange symptoms for me. Inflammation, I thought, when I was young, I was sore because I overdid it in a workout or in an activity. And now I was like, no, I'm kind of creaking and achy in places that I know I didn't get a workout in. And then Of course, mood swings. I never imagined having those like I did when I hit my 40s because I wasn't a moody teenager anymore and I hadn't yet experienced, I wasn't yet experiencing menopause. So what are these crazy mood swings I'm all of a sudden having? And I tried tons of books and diet plans and programs and workouts all throughout my life, just trying, I like trying new things, but I never really found something consistent that I could stick with and that cured a whole range of the symptoms I was now experiencing. And so I tried the triplex actually probably about 6 or 7 years ago when Amy started. But I wasn't ready for it then, which I now know because I wasn't consistent. And I would experience like, oh, I am having some success, but I didn't stick with it. And so then I would go right back to where I was. And so then becoming a health coach over the past year, I learned that healthy habits are necessary and consistency is necessary. But unless you're doing everything right all the time, you're still going to experience occasional symptoms of distress. It's just normal. So I was inconsistent maybe with my diet. I'd be really good during the week, but then overindulge on the weekends. Exercise, I'd hit a great streak where I could check off multiple days in a row, and then I get kind of lackadaisical and inconsistent there. But the one thing that I have been able to stay consistent with, because it's so easy, is taking my supplements. They're right there on my bedside table. So I either take them right before I go to bed or right when I get up. It's the one thing that I have been able to be consistent with that has really been able to balance out so many of my symptoms. So now I'm experiencing not just more energy than I experienced in my 30s and early 40s, but it's consistent throughout the day. I'm able to fall asleep better because I'm not built pent up with stress and anxiety. I don't have to worry about running to the bathroom because I might have accidentally eaten something I shouldn't have, or wondering when was the last time I even went. So I just have experienced just an overall feeling of just balance and well-being that I wasn't able to achieve just trying different healthy habits on my own. And so I started sharing the results with friends, and now I'm so excited to have them on the call and you get to hear their experiences. And every week or week or month when we chat with our Plexus friends here on Team Empower, we get to hear these amazing testimonies of how it's affects so many people in so many different ways, and we keep sharing that out, and it's like a huge ripple effect. So that just really warms my heart. I love seeing that. So I'm, as a health coach, that's just a little bit about me. I'm going to share a little bit about the gut brain axis, why gut health matters, and a little bit about our products. And then you'll get to hear some great testimonies. So if you've been paying attention to any health and wellness news or even commercials that are now on TV, they're talking about the brain and how it is affected by gut health. And so your gut, you may have been hearing about that for quite a while now. It's causing a plethora of problems. If you have an unbalanced gut, you might have heard of leaky gut, but you're hearing more and more. If you listen to the incessant drug commercials, they're talking about how you're feeling so sluggish and struggling, and how it's all a matter of your gut. And they're right, but medication may not always be the answer. So there are things you can do to sort of restore that balance within your gut, because it truly does affect it goes straight to your central nervous system and to the brain, and it affects all the systems in your body. So a lot of times when you hear gut, you think, oh, that makes my tummy feel better when I have probiotics and I eat yogurt and things like that. But there's so much more to it. So you may have heard, recently people around you really struggling with a myriad of illnesses, diseases, things like thyroid imbalance, hormonal imbalance, celiac disease, food intolerances, Hashimoto's, Crohn's, rheumatoid arthritis, menopausal symptoms, lupus, diabetes, depression, anxiety, IBS, and the list goes on and on and on. And so it's like, if you don't know somebody that's not affected by one of those things, you're probably not leaving your house, because it's all around us now. So there's obviously a need for us to focus in on our gut and get healthy. In fact, if you Google gut health and any symptom you might be having, you'll find a wealth of information about just how all those things do start within the gut. So in Plexus, we talk about the microbiome, and that's simply all those microorganisms that are living in your intestinal tract, your gut. And so some of those, there's hundreds and hundreds and millions of those. So some of those are very healthy. You need to have those healthy microbes in your intestinal tract, in your gut system. But there's also harmful organisms in there as well. So at Plexus, we say there is a need to weed, seed, and feed your gut. So weed out the bad things, seed it with the good things that you need, and then feed it so that it can continue to flourish. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. So let's talk about the things we probably need to be weeding out and why we're all in this state of imbalance. So there's two things that happen within our microbiome. One is yeast overgrowth, and you may have heard of that if you've taken antibiotics or a lot of medications. That can be a side effect, is yeast overgrowth of that candida yeast. And so that causes, if you're experiencing any kind of symptoms like fatigue, allergies, seasonal or otherwise, mental fog, brain fog, things like that, that can be due, like I said, to medication. It can also be due to environmental factors, so things we're exposed to that we don't even realize are causing us harm. And then stress within the body. So that stress, that fight or flight or freeze response that our body innately goes to, can trigger all kinds of different issues and symptoms within the body. So and yeast overgrowth is one of those. So yeast overgrowth being one, and the other one is insulin sensitivity. So we usually refer to this as balanced blood sugar because that's what people can really relate to. So if you've experienced anything like roller coaster energy levels, right, where you get really energetic after you eat, but then you're crashing. If you're experiencing any kind of cravings throughout the day, or if you tend to overeat, maybe in the afternoons or evenings or more and more as the day goes on. A lot of females see this in thyroid changes, hormonal imbalances, and changes in cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone. So all that insulin insensitivity is because your blood sugar isn't able to stay balanced throughout the day and to keep you on track. So those two issues affect pretty much most of us in one way or another. As I mentioned, all those different symptoms and things that people may have. If you have a conversation, a real conversation with anybody close to you, you probably have heard them complain about at least one of those. So as a health coach, I tend to steer people away from diets, short-term programs, and more towards long-term solutions. So of course, diet and exercise can be a part of that, regulating that blood sugar, getting rid of yeast overgrowth. But we can't eat perfectly all the time, and we can't always control the factors around us, especially those that come with age. Like I didn't see any of that coming, right? So since we can't do that, we kind of need some help. And that's where taking things in the form of antioxidants, probiotics, and prebiotics, plus consistent vitamins and minerals, making sure that our gut weeds out the bad, feeds it with the good, and then seeds it with the good and continues to feed that. And that is definitely where Plexus comes in, because while I can't be consistent and in my diet and exercise all the time, I can be consistent with my supplements. And if you've ever heard this before and you're like, yes, I need to take something, I probably need some magnesium, I probably need some vitamin B, D, C, E. Yeah, all those things are true, but it gets overwhelming to try to go on Amazon or go to Whole Foods or the health food store and look at all the choices on the store shelves. I can't tell you how many bottles, when I help people declutter their kitchens and bathroom cabinets, how many vitamins that are expired that I'm pulling out off the shelves, because they buy them because they know they need them, but then they're not consistently taking them, and they're not consistently feeling better. And that's where the Triplex comes in. Triplex is a simple system that Plexus has created that allows us to get all those things we need to cut out the overgrown yeast and to balance our blood sugar. So I'm going to introduce you to the products quickly, and then you'll get to hear some more testimonies from my friends who have been taking these products. So the first one, our flagship product, is Plexus Slim. That's what we affectionately call our pink drink. And you may see us taking selfies with our water bottles and our pink drink. So this is amazing. It's delicious. I mean, it's like a cocktail without the booze. You can drink it with some sparkling water. It's delicious in a wine glass. It's a great substitute. But this is great for people who are doing intermittent fasting to either break their fast, or if you're like me and you hit the wall later in the day, It's great for cutting out those cravings of, okay, it's 3, 4 o'clock p.m. and I just got to have a little something. I'm starting to get tired. I'm starting to dip. My energy is not sustained throughout the day. So, this is what helps you balance that blood sugar so that you can really stay consistent throughout the day and not have those peaks and valleys in your energy. It helps feed your gut with those healthy microbes that go into your gut. It balances your blood sugar levels, as I mentioned. It helps your body look for fat to burn instead of carbs and proteins. And we know we've got stored fat. If you've got any stress going on in your life, your body is automatically storing that fat. So this helps find that fat and burn it first. It helps lower bad cholesterol. And I have to tell a cute, quick story. Like, even my daughter now, she realizes like all her friends are drinking. She's a competitive dancer, and all her friends are drinking these trashy, crappy energy drinks and sodas. And she's like, but mom, we need the energy. So she's now taking her Plexus bottle to dance, and all the girls are like, bring me a slim, bring me a slim. So hopefully we got some future customers coming up. But I love it because she's like, Mom, I want to have the healthy, clean, natural energy that Plexus gives me, not the crap my friends are getting in the vending machine. So I love that. The other two products in the triplex are ProBio 5 and BioCleanse. These are the two that live on my bedside table. And so the ProBio 5, it's a probiotic, just like it sounds like. It's a unique blend, though, that you're not going to find anywhere else. And this really helps feed your gut with those healthy microbes it needs. It creates a healthier digestive system. And it also has vitamin C, which helps boost your immune system, which is awesome. And it really helps rid your gut of that intestinal yeast that you don't need. And then the BioCleanse, this is my have to have. My sister and I are next door to each other. And if one of us starts running low, we're like, okay, can I have a couple tablets before my shipment gets here? Because I can't go a day without it. It's my must have. This helps weed out all the unhealthy gut microbes. It's a gentle cleanse, just like it says, BioCleanse, but it helps you just flush out all those toxins and all those unhealthy gut microbes. It's a gentle cleanse with magnesium, which, by the way, most of us are deficient in. If you've ever been tested, that's probably come up. And so it's something that you need anyway. And it also leads, in addition to cutting out irregularity and discomfort, it really does help lead to better sleep. So that's why I love it, because my insomnia symptoms have just completely subsided. I'm able to go to sleep calmer and stay asleep longer. And I love the magnesium for that. It also has improved immune system functions. It just does a myriad of wonderful things. So those three products together are where we sort of recommend everybody starts on their Plexus journey. And then we have a ton of extra products that we can tweak and add and change depending on what other things you might want to be experiencing. So as I said, I fall asleep better. I stay asleep. My mood swings are much more stabilized. I have daily regularity, which is awesome. And then I'm not feeling the creakiness in my and aches and pains in my joints. So it's that simple. It's something you do daily. You're going to want to, once you start feeling better taking the triplex, you're going to want to try more things. And that's great because we have phenomenal products that help with weight loss, anti-aging. I add the collagen to my pink drink, increased immune function. And we always have a featured product of the month for May. It's the X Factor Plus. You will not find a multivitamin like this anywhere else. It's a great multivitamin with aloe, which is a superfood that helps you absorb all the nutrients that you're just flushing out of your body with the vitamin you got from Whole Foods. So it's just a really great product. So that's kind of what I take a ton of different things, but the triplex is definitely my consistent go-to system for feeling better. And then I always like to add the product of the month to try something new or just stay consistent with my health. So with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to my dear friend Beth, who is fairly new to Plexus, but is having some really great results. So Beth, feel free to say hello and share with us.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Carrie. I'm Beth, also in North Carolina. I'm in Mooresville. And I started Plexus probably September of 2020. I had been going through, I lost my mother a few years ago. She had ovarian cancer and I was her caretaker. And in that process of watching her pass away, I just dove headfirst into some pretty serious grief that I tried to battle with food and with bad habits, and I started slowly putting on weight that I didn't even realize that I was putting on. And then, of course, in 2020, all of our lives changed and COVID happened and we went into lockdown. And I, like so many other people, learned to bake. So I started, baking all of these breads and sweets and just terrible foods and put on more weight. And again, slowly over the course of several months. But on top of all of that, not only was I battling the grief of loss, but because my habits had changed and I had just moved into just a bad way of treating my body, I was battling depression and really serious mood swings and would have, really low lows. And
Beth, you just got muted.
okay, I finally, I don't know how much I was muted for, but I finally had a conversation with Carrie. I've known Carrie since I was in high school. I've known her sister since middle school, and her sister and I are really, really good friends. And she mentioned what Carrie was doing and changing her life and becoming a life coach. And one day, just kind of out of the blue, I texted Carrie, and we ended up having this hour-long conversation, and she recommended the triplex. And I have never been one to jump on the bandwagon with anything. And I certainly oftentimes feel like products say they'll do one thing and it just doesn't end up being the thing that happens. You get these miracle pills and you don't feel any differently. So I was a little bit skeptical actually. And I started with the triplex, and in about 3 weeks, I felt like a fog was lifted from my brain. I felt like there was sunshine in all of my pores. It was that I felt the person that I used to be kind of bubbling up inside of me. And because of that, because I started feeling so amazing and like my system was so regular and I had so much energy, I started kickboxing, which also is something I was completely out of my comfort zone, something I never would have done. And I absolutely credit Plexus with giving me that energy and that confidence to go and try something new, because suddenly I felt like my body was capable. And so once I started kickboxing, I then added in the X Factor Plus multivitamin as well, and started changing my eating habits. And Plexus helped with that. Because it made me want to keep my body feeling this powerful and this strong and this amazing. And I wanted to keep my mood this lifted. And so over the course of, since the end of September, or since September, I've lost 25 pounds. I have not had any low days where, the days where you felt like you can't get out of bed or where you just feel emotional. Even my mood swings around my menstrual cycle aren't nearly as severe. I don't have the crazy cravings. I'm a salt person more than a sweets person, and I don't have the crazy cravings for potato chips and tortilla chips the way that I used to. But the most amazing thing is just the impact that it had on my thinking process, that my brain just got clearer and I was just able to feel like myself and not feel so heavy and so grief stricken. And then because of it, I got healthy, and now I'm wearing the same size clothes that I wore in college. And I'm 44 and my skin changed. It changed my system, and I'm shocked by it. I'm consistently shocked by it because, again, I haven't ever been a person that believed products would be helpful in such drastic ways. And I'm a believer.
Beth, thank you so
Thank you, Beth.
much for
Yes.
sharing your story. I love hearing it. I'm so glad on this call to let
Aw.
everybody know.
That's all
all
Carrie.
you-
It's all Carrie. She got me on the call, but most importantly, she got me on Plexus. So
oh, I love that. And so thanks for sharing. And next we have Jamie. Jamie Terry, we went to college together and I saw her last weekend and she was sharing her wins with me. And I said, Jamie, you have to share tonight on the call. So thanks, Jamie, for sharing. And you're next.
side. Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me? Okay, good, good. So as Amy said, I'm Jamie, and I have been on the Plexus Slim, ProBio, and BioClone for 10 months now. Started back in August of 2020. Before starting the product, and I hate calling them products because what it's kind of turned into me now is part of my wellness plan, really. But when I started taking them, before I was literally living off of Tums, really after every meal. My husband even made the comment that I was going down the same road as him, where I would be on a Nexium for, before too long, taking a pill every day. And since I've been on those 3 products, just like what Carrie said, I don't really know all of this. I haven't educated myself as far as the science behind it, but that gut health has completely turned that around. I really don't think that I've had a Tums in 9 months. And it didn't even really occur to me that was the case, because, I would feel horrible. I would take something and then I would feel better. So it wasn't like I was really living with chronic pain. It was more of a nuisance. But it was just something that I was just kind of dealing with. So it didn't occur to me until very recently, wow, I haven't had a Tums in a very long time. And I really think that has everything to do with the gut health program that I'm on right now. But that wasn't what made me want to try Plexus originally. I came to Plexus, at a pretty low through the pandemic. It was for vanity reasons. I think I've chased 5 pounds my entire life, but during the pandemic that turned to 10, and it was rounding the corner to 15. And I thought I need something to help me get over the hump. And I knew in the back of my mind that there was no magic pill for that. There was nothing that was going to just melt it away and put me back where I thought I needed to be. So I started taking the products, and I took them for about 2 months. And I had more energy, and I had less hunger due to the appetite suppressant. But what I found was, I wasn't losing weight. I was maybe even gaining weight. But my eating and my bad habits don't have anything to do with hunger. And it really was kind of an epiphany for me that if I wasn't going to put the work in, how could I put this much pressure on these products when really it had to be a joint effort? I was pretty low during that time. I was thinking about how awful of a mother I was, and I was a bad wife, and I wasn't motivated at work, and I just pretty much sucked all the way around, I felt like. And so I started praying just so hard about motivation and patience, and with that, I started exercising, and I started giving myself some grace with food. I call it, we joke in my house, we call it Trash Panda in the pantry, where you just go in there and you mow through the Cheez-Its and the this and that. And before you know it, 20 minutes later, you've ingested 1,000 calories. And so I kind of told myself, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to junkie snack. I'm not going to junkie sweets. And that's what I'm going to cut out. But if I wanted a cheeseburger, I had a cheeseburger. I just kind of made it up with what I ate for dinner, or vice versa. But, as far as where I am now on this journey, it's really a 5-point system for me. And Plexus is one of those points. I have Plexus, I have religion, I have exercise, I have sensible food, and water. And those 5 things, they can't be out of balance. I can't skip any of those. I feel like they're so interwoven right now. Amy jokes and she says you came into this and you didn't want it to work. And it wasn't that I didn't want it to work. I wanted it to. I think I was still deep down looking for that thing that was going to do all the work for me. But what I found was Plexus was the starting point for me for this journey. And then it's been an evolution of, it comes down to me. And this is just a part that helps. So.
Jamie, thanks so much for sharing. And I love that 5-point system. I love that analogy. That is what so much of us are about on this call. So thank you all for coming on tonight and sharing. I really appreciate everybody taking time out of their busy Thursday night. Thanks for being a part of it. Thanks for listening. And thank you all so much for sharing. And reach out to the person who invited you here tonight, because we would love to have you be a part of this with us. So good night, y'all.
Good night.
Take care. Thanks, guys.